The Singapore Fintech Festival has had its most successful year yet, with a staggering number of over 62,000 participants from 115 countries. Since its inaugural launch in 2016, the festival has proven to be the gathering ground for the global fintech community, whether to discover new trends, to reconnect, or even to build meaningful new relationships as well. With 2 years of lockdown, the demand for in-person event has heightened, and this can be seen culminating during the event. But it wasn't without its challenges, as Pat Patel will explain.
I think the challenging part has been we've not run a physical event in 3 years. And so this is the first physical event. If you think about inflation around the world, you think about some economic challenges that are going on. So to achieve the numbers and the volumes that we have is just off the charts. We've got a number of new stages that we're trying out. This year we've created something called the Founders Peak. And so it's like a TED type stage. It's about 50 founders over the course of 3 days. We'll be not talking about their businesses, not talking about their products, but talking about an experience that has made them who they are today. So it's an untold story, an emotional, so it's a TED talk basically from a founder. So it's the first of its kind.
Of course, one of the biggest trends that have emerged this year are digibanks. While other ASEAN markets are still gearing up towards a launch, digibanks in countries like Singapore and Philippines are already operational, and there are certainly lessons to be learned from there. Meet Trust Bank, Singapore's latest digibank that was formed as a result of a partnership between Standard Chartered Bank and FairPrice Group. We managed to catch up with their Chief of Staff at the Expo Hall, and he spoke to us about their journey so far.
It's been an amazing start. We're really grateful and very humble for the start we've had. As you said, we got to 100k in 10 days. We've literally just gone past about a week ago about 300k customers, which is amazing.
Wow, very nice.
We're really grateful for that progress.
The partnership with FairPrice also enabled a onboarding promotion that we've not seen in other markets as well. It's quite interesting that you guys were giving out sacks of rice for onboarding customer. It is the most Asian onboarding strategy I've seen. So good job on the localization as well.
We have got the ability to focus just on Singapore. So doing these things that really matter just for Singapore and very tailored to the market here is something that we can really bring to the market. We're very excited about that, and the rice is a great example. 60 tons of rice in the first month.
Really, 60 tons
for a bank.
Wow.
So it was quite a feat. And it was just really interesting to see that happen. There's a huge potential to change things and to have an impact. And I think the digital banks are launching now. We've got amazing ecosystem partners that really bring that value every day to customers. We've got brand new tech stacks, and that enables things like real-time data and customer interactions, which drive very different behavior from customers.
Meanwhile, in the Philippines, where all the 6 digibanks have already been greenlit by the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas to launch, incumbents like Union Bank, who spun its own digital bank unit, have found tremendous success. Ari De Vera, the CEO of Union Bank Digital, explains to FinTech News why their ecosystem gave them a leg up in the digital banking race.
So when the digital bank licenses were offered by the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas, we grabbed it because it has always been part of our aspiration to be a technology company and also a bank. And the digital bank license makes that a reality. And we've been very successful if you look at the communities, because the Aboitiz Group has interest in financial services, in power generation, power distribution, food, real estate. You're going to see that we have so many different ecosystems and market segments of which we've been deeply embedded with. We have a lot of data, we have a lot of history and execution in these ecosystem segments, and now we see that Union Digital can be the vehicle by which we can unlock more value, not just within those ecosystems, but within the value chain that the entire group brings. And that's why in only 4 months, we've been able to, within the ecosystems that we have in the group, we've been able to secure 1.73 million customers. We have a deposit base of $50 million. And a loan book of over $75 million as well.
Another area which is a hotbed for innovation is, of course, payments. From traditional payment rails enabling faster and more seamless payments to more experimental projects like CDBCs and stablecoins, the payments industry is certainly undergoing its own renaissance. During the Fintech Festival, the Monetary Authority of Singapore announced trials for a digital version of the Singapore dollar. Lawrence, who is the group CEO of NETS, the National Payments Infrastructure, is eager to support this initiative.
As was announced yesterday, in terms of purpose-bound money or stable coins, how digital currency will soon have an impact on all our lives, and how NETS can really support that initiative in Singapore as well. Well, it's near since it's present today in this SFS. We can already use the digital
Pretty cool
currency.
stuff, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
so it's real today. When we will hit the masses, I think that's the role that Nets can play to help support this kind of initiative.
Concurrent with public-led CDBC projects, the private sector is also attempting to reinvent payments through stablecoins. While stablecoins are certainly promising, it is not without its controversies, as the Terra Luna incident can attest to. Dante Disparte, who is the Chief Strategy Officer and the Head of Global Policy at Circle, who just secured the in-principle approval from the Monetary Authority of Singapore, shares with us his outlook. Circle is of course best known for the stablecoin USDC, who is second only to USDT in market capitalization.
Well, I think one of the reasons stablecoins have been such a deep area of interest for regulators and policymakers and frankly market participants is because it's the most likely of all of the crypto assets to be used by billions of people.
For sure, yeah.
And so Terra Luna has taught us that there's some stablecoins that are stable in name only, but there are others like USDC and our Euro stablecoin as well that are really backed by high quality liquid assets and that have a high sort of regulatory regime behind them. And so they're good enough for the traditional financial system to start to embrace. Well, I think what you could expect not only of us, but also of the industry is that there's a transition in the crypto industry from the speculative phase to the utility value phase, which is deeper integration in traditional payments, ubiquity around use cases for always on payments, DeFi, CeFi, all of these types of use cases are now starting to become mainstream, and I think that's very encouraging.
Meanwhile, global payment operators like Nure and Payoneer are bullish about the crypto space. Whether it is providing crypto payments or facilitating payments in the metaverse, these players are increasingly diversifying their business into this space.
The future, if you're going to ask me that question, eventually it will come down to also crypto payments.
Right,
Because
yeah,
if you look at Southeast Asia, 600 new companies in crypto space have actually set themselves up here. 200 in Singapore
Alone, right?
Alone,
Yeah,
right?
huge, yeah.
So the drive is these are the foundations of creating payments going forward. So this is where I think it's going to be.
So the metaverse continues to gain momentum, and obviously it's a revolutionary idea where we're going to obviously exist in this kind of parallel universe. But I will say this: metaverse isn't much different than some of the models that already exist today. So think of online gaming, right? So you play a game. There can be currencies in there. You can buy things in that game. You might buy tools, or you might buy outfits, or you might buy cars, or things within that environment. So the model that we're using for the metaverse isn't necessarily a brand new model. It's just an advancement on the current model that you would say you have in a Sony PlayStation or an Xbox and others. We work very closely with a lot of the metaverse suppliers in order to make sure that we understand not only where they're going today, but where they actually are heading, so that in the future, payments can be as fast as the adaptation of metaverse itself.
For us and the fintech community at large, the Singapore Fintech Festival has certainly been re-energizing. The organisers at Elevandi has already announced dates for the next edition, which will be held from the 13th to the 17th of November in 2023. Before we wrapped up our interview, Pat gave us clues of what to expect in the next edition.
I think you'll see a lot of the experiments this year. We will continue, I think, because most of them seem to be going really well. Okay. And then we'll add a few extra ones into the mix. But we've had a lot of invitations to co-locate other events with us. And there's a few interesting ones that could come along that ultimately just takes what we're doing here to the next level, if that's even possible.